Hello, this is my SGDQ submission for Banjo-Kazooie Any%. I'm Azmi1, the current world record holder of this category. So I'll start and I can introduce the category as I go along. So this is on the N64 version, with it's Banjo-Kazooie Any%. So why do I think this run should be accepted into GDQ? I think that this run is drastically different than the previous Banjo-Kazooie runs shown. The main attraction of this run is the glitch RBA. We utilize it a lot during this run. It's been shown very slightly in the previous 100% run at GDQ, but in this run we use it way more, which is really entertaining and has lots of cool movement and fun and stuff like that. So this category has technically never been shown, but technically has. Banjo-Kazooie Any% has been shown at a previous GDQ many years ago, but the route was completely different back then. Like, for context, the amount of jiggies you got were like over 70 back then, whereas now we only get 61 jiggies. So yeah, the route is like completely different. It's like pretty much a brand new run, and yeah, it's super entertaining, I would say. Over the past few months, me and a few other people have been trying to optimize this, coming up with new routes, new Gobies routes, new B stuff, new B movement, all that stuff. And I think it's a really good run, and I think it has a lot of potential to be shown at GDQ. So, most of this run is going to all the levels to collect notes, because we need 810 notes for the 810 note door, which we did recently find a skip for. We found a skip for the 810 note door, but it's task only. However, there will be an 90% task very soon, which is really nice because there's going to be even more hype for 80% because of that. But for this run in particular, we're going to need 810 notes and 31 jiggies. So right now I'm on Mumbo's Mountain, that's what we do. We get most of the jiggies, I think 8 or 9, and all the notes, because they're all really fast in Mumbo's Mountain. And you'll also notice here, right after these notes, I'm going to get these eggs. Because in this category, we learn eggs on our friend's fun file, so we can, so we don't have to talk to bottles in Mumbo's Mountain. Since you only need like a maximum of 20 eggs throughout the entire run, you don't need to like learn the move from bottles to refill your eggs. So yeah, that's like a really good time save that like allows for a much nicer, much cleaner route. And, right here I killed that guy. That's actually really good because that's a lot of lag reduction. These goblins eat a lot of lag. So now here I'm at 1 egg, which is fine. You only need 1 egg right now, and then we get more later. A bit more later. Right here, I'm gonna get this extra life, because this route abuses death warps a lot. But unlike 100%, you don't get an extra life after every level because you don't get 100 notes in every level. So you're a little bit low on lives, but it's totally fine because normally in a run in a PB attempt, I wouldn't get any extra lives, just like that, just to be fast. But for this run, I can do some safety strats and get that extra life right there, plus this extra life coming up, which makes it like really safe throughout the entire run. And yeah, another good thing about 90% in general is that dying is not even as bad as like 100%, since most of the levels are so short. The B levels are especially like really short. They're very intense. They're very movement intensive and like compact, but they're really short, so dying doesn't cost too much time. So yeah, as you saw there, we got some more eggs to just be safe. Normally I wouldn't get like any eggs here, but for safety I can just get extra eggs as I need them. Here we're just gonna get all the notes and we're gonna hit the conga. As you can see from my splits, The first level is like it's under 6 minutes usually, which is really fast. There's like half of the, well, I bet over half of this run is BK stuff, which has a lot of cool stuff. Like every level has its own like unique cool thing, pretty much. And then the other half or so is like B stuff, which takes a lot of practice to get good at, but it's really, really satisfying to watch done well. Right about here, we're gonna just get this Jinjo, then we're gonna, the Jiggy's gonna pop into the air, and we're gonna grab it as we jump into the water. That lets us skip this Jiggy Jig. It saves about 6 seconds overall. The jig itself is like 4.5, but it saves a bit more because of movement. So this is a pre-recorded run that I'm voicing over, which is just for focus reasons. Obviously, I would focus more on GDQ as well. But this run ended up being really good, like really, really good for just a one-off run. Because I wasn't super practiced at this. I was pretty practiced because I spent like a day or two just practicing for this run. But even in that much time, I still like the end time is like only 20 seconds off second place, which is really, really good still, considering anything that can happen. Right here, we're allowed to open Clanker's Cavern early, technically earlier than you're supposed to, because of FFM, where we know the shock pad move. So we can just put pieces in here and never have to come back here again. You'll also notice that we didn't open TTC. Now, this is a trick that has never been shown out of GDQ ever. It has been recently implemented into 100%, but only recently after the GDQ run. And it saves not that much time in 100% because it's just risky. But in any percent, it saves a lot more time. Basically, we're going to click into this cannon with lag, go out of bounds, swim underneath this lair section, navigate out of bounds, and then flutter inside TTC and beak bust in without opening it. And as you can see, I golded that split. That wasn't even that great. It just shows how much better people have gotten at that trick in general. Because I got my PB in this quite a few months ago, and since then I have gotten better in general. And there has been slight improvements into this route that's made it even faster. So it's like, it never ends with this game. It's always optimizable, always. So here at TTC is a really good level, because there's a lot of flying, there's a lot of swimming, there's a lot of platforming, there's a lot of pretty much everything. Our main focus here is just to get notes as usual, but we'll also get a few jiggies too. And as you can see, for people who have seen like BK 100% runs in the past, these routes are completely different than the 100% routes. Yeah. With any percent stuff in general, just in general, not even for this run, but with any percent stuff in general, it's a lot cooler to see than 100% sometimes, because in 100%, your goal is to collect everything, including all the slow stuff, as fast as possible. But in any percent, your goal is to collect as little as possible, as fast as possible. So you're optimizing every single note. Is this one note worth it? No? Then get something else. Just like, there's so many options. When they all come together, it forms a really, really nice route. That really, really prioritizes speed over just like collecting every single thing there is. So here, I got Blubber. This is an RNG thing. Only a few seconds saved. Basically, if you just stand in the spot where the Jiggy will spawn, you'll save a few seconds because of the Jiggy Jig. Here's the first flying section. We're gonna beak bomb into this wall. While the chest is opening and closing, we're gonna fly in, get the Jiggy, fly out. We're gonna beak bomb all the way here. Get this token in one easy swoop. And we're gonna come over here and get these notes. Very carefully, fly up here and skip this Jiggy Jig right here. This is just like one of the few really cool flying sections in this run. Get the Jinjo, and we're just gonna come up here. This is a cool little dive here, so we don't take fall damage. Get the token, and now we're just gonna go over here. So yeah, as you can see, TDC has a lot of just platforming and flying. It's a really difficult level, but it is, in my opinion, it's a really good level. It's a really big skill check of a level. As you can see, there's like rarely any time where we're not collecting something. Just got that Jiggy, like 4 seconds later we're getting these notes. Like 5 seconds later we're coming up to this flight pad, getting all these feathers. Getting this Jiggy down here. Flying is another thing that's really hard for beginners, and just like a really pretty hard thing in general, but when done well, it looks really, really good. You can utilize beak bombs really well. Here is another safety strat that I do. Usually you would take fall damage there to just prep for the death warp, but I'm just gonna not take fall damage, just to be safe. This run does a lot of safety strats, which is really crazy considering what time it gets. Because I can't really explain how well it is unless you actually run any percent, but the time that this run ends up getting is actually still really good. Now here we're just gonna death warp inside Nipper. We do Nipper skip like that, we beak bomb over him, and then jump inside his head, and then kill him from the inside and then go inside of him. As you saw there, I got some more eggs just for a backup. Ideally, you would grab the egg and then land on the crabs to death warp, but I just had some bad RNG, plus I was being safe, so yeah, it's fine. And then that's TDC. As you can see right here, the treasure chest is closed. Now we're just gonna head over to Clanker's. Clanker's Cavern is a hard level. It's not really super similar to 100%, but it's similar in the way that it's still based off of cycles. Except there's different cycles in this case. There's the fin cycle and the bolt cycle, whereas in 100% there's the tooth cycle and the bolt cycle. Actually, in this Clankers there's fin cycle, tail cycle, and bolt cycle. So one more cycle. Really cycle-based run, which kind of sucks for just runs in general, because it means you're gonna lose like 10 seconds or something if you make a big mistake or something. But not that bad in actual like marathon runs, because with safe cycles you should like make it every time with just easy strats. That's sort of what I do here. Right there, that was a cool little hive jump that I would do. Just saves a little time over just backflipping. You can do this little pipe jump to save like 2 seconds in this platforming. Thinking about Gloop here, so we're gonna enter the water and swim all the way down and free Clanker. Gloop is the fish that gives us air. Gloop cycles, like he cycles around the entire arena or whatever there. His cycle starts when you enter the level. However, Clanker's cycle itself, like its tooth cycles, its fin cycles, its like bolt cycles, his cycles actually starts somewhere around here. It's theorized that it starts right here, when you skip the text, but it starts somewhere after you enter the water. So it's just a cool, interesting detail that Gloop cycle starts way before Clanker actually starts his cycle. So yeah. Now we're just gonna come down here and do this little swimming section to get all these notes, get some bubbles. And we're gonna not get the Jinjos here though, because the Jinjos are slow in this. In my opinion, I think that this level is probably the slowest paced level, which is not even like that slow paced. It's honestly mostly this cutscene right here that's kind of slow paced, if you were to say. But like this, I would say is the slowest paced level, which is kind of impressive for something along those lines, because it just shows how fast paced and how speedy this entire run actually is. So here I'm just gonna get another bubble. I messed up a tiny bit, but I'm only losing like 1 cycle, so it's not even a big deal. Messed up a tiny bit of the swimming, but it's perfectly fine. And we're gonna get these notes in this little pipe right here. Normally, in 100% you death warp out of clankers by drowning, but in any percent we don't. So we're gonna get these notes here, then death warp via another method. There's just so much that can be optimized in any percent, because like just when I've started in general, I've already optimized like a Gobi's route, an entire route change along with the help of another runner, like multiple token changes. There's made 45 tokens in this entire run, but there's only like so many different ones you can get. I say in general, overall since I've started running, the time saved from tokens is like at least 7-8 seconds minimum from the route like from a year ago. Any percent is like as optimized as it's ever been. Here we're gonna do this little quick dive down to snippets. Now snippets is just pretty straightforward. We're just gonna kill all these crabs and try and get the Jiggy in the cutscene. Kill 2 crabs with 1 beak plus. Get the notes. Try and kill the other 2 crabs. I kind of missed it, but it's not that bad. Get these eggs. I actually still got the Jiggy, which is really nice. Here's the other cycle, the second cycle we want to make, this tail cycle, which we're pretty much on pace for, kind of. Right here. And we're just gonna get this Jiggy real quick. Oh, feathers is another thing. Feathers is really nice because you don't really need that many feathers at all. The last time we used feathers is right after FP in the entire run. Until Grunty, of course. But this just allows us to go much faster without having to worry about like feather management at all. And this is the last cycle in this level, the bolt cycle. Actually, no, wait, I just realized there is one more cycle. There's 4 cycles overall in Clankers. So we're getting all of these notes, but we got a zigzag to not get hit by the saw blades. We have this flight pad open, we're just gonna beak them all the way here into this gold feather room. Here's a cool little detail, getting a talent shot while talking to bottles. And now we're just gonna walk through all these fan blades without getting hit because we're so good at this game. Most people know already, if you just walk beside, you won't get hit. So yeah. There's a cool little trick coming out right here. The water is lowered now, but we want to get these notes up here by the honeycomb box. So what we can do is jump onto this rib and then jump all the way up here. And get all these notes and head down. This one for these last few notes. Yeah. Another reason why this is really safe, this category in general, is because if you die before getting like the last note or last token or something, there's like almost always a backup. Like, I'm about to do a death warp, which is kind of scary because it's right after you get a note. Also, right here's a cool little detail. We want to prepare for a death warp, so we take 2 damage on this brown platform, jump to the chomper, take 2 damage, come back, and still make the same tooth cycle. So as I was saying, right here we're gonna get these notes and then death warp right after the last note. In this order specifically. So these notes. Slide down for this, jump onto this note, backflip up for this token, and die. So say I missed a note there and I died too early, or even just a token, or both. I wouldn't have to go all the way back. This isn't 100%. You can just like continue on perfectly, and you'll only lose like a few seconds to getting a backup note, which is really nice. So here's another cool trick coming up that hasn't been shown off before, but it's still a really cool trick in general, because it involves flying out of bounds. It's called FP early, or obviously we enter FP early. Flutter here, then open the 260 note. Just make our way from clankers and going all the way to FP. We don't want to go to bubble loop because we're gonna go to bubble loop as the B and do that entire level as the B. And we can get this nice token back here. In this run, we do Rusty Bucket Bay, Gobi's Valley, and Bubble Loop Swamp as a B. Rusty Bucket Bay is probably the easiest one, and it has a lot of cool movement. Gobi's Valley is like, I'd say it's the hardest one to just get through, but it has a really, really cool route, because me and another runner, or another BK community member who goes by the name of Hyper Resonance, has routed out Gobi's Valley to save like roughly 10 seconds over the route that my current world record does. And it's a much cooler route. It's like, has a lot more cooler flying, takes advantage of like, just getting notes in flight in general and stuff like that. And it flows much smoother. So right here, we're gonna do this clip. This clip has been much better throughout the years. If people may remember a GDQ run that Stivity Bobo did quite a few years ago for any percent no RBA. He failed this quite a few times, but since then, this has been actually implemented into the 100% run, and has been like practiced thoroughly and like has been like way more understood throughout the years. So now it's like pretty easy to get first try every time for more experienced runners. Here, FP is a nice quick level, only like 3 minutes or so. We're just getting a lot of notes. FP is really nice because you can get the majority of the notes. I actually think you can get 100% of the notes without like becoming the walrus or something. Because all the notes are like outside or like available right at the beginning. Because normally you backtrack in this level. So just in my theory personally, my theory is that they personally intended for you to go to FP first, get all the notes, get all the jiggies except for the last boggy jiggy, then leave FP. Right here's a cool little trick. We're gonna fly up here, peak bump into this, and usually we would get this through the pipe. It's hard, but it's a really cool strat that can be done really well. If not, then we can just land it. As I was saying, the theory is that they intended you to go to FP first. You can get 100 notes here, and like 9 jiggies, all except the boggy race jiggy. Then leave the level and come back with the speed shoes. That way you don't have to recollect any of the notes. So that would probably be why it's really they allowed you to get all the notes right away. Here's a nice little movement. Normally we go up this scarf in 100%, but here we're gonna walk down. And walking down hills is faster than jumping down hills, and it's so much faster that like I actually timed this before. Going up the scarf and just like straight up in isolation loses like up to 2 to 3 seconds to just walking down the scarf, just because of how much faster walking down slopes is compared to jumping up slopes. Here we're gonna get these notes. I did lose a health. There's a honeycomb box right here that's really, really, really good as a backup for if you lose some health. So I'm just gonna get some health here that I need. I'm just gonna walk down here. Now here, these excuse me, these notes in the water, it's intended to get them as the walrus, but we don't want to be the walrus because that's slow. So we're just gonna jump flutter throughout this entire thing, and hopefully, oh, I know the result. We'll get out of this with 2 health optimally. So get this one, get out before we take another damage. So now we don't have to get another health, then we just jump into this water. However, if we did take another damage, then we could just break a snowball, and then get more health. Because you can break snowballs in this game, and it just gives you health. Here, what we're going to do is, we're going to jump here, run into this corner, beak barge down, and die on the fire, press the button, and skip this mumbo text. That's important because it skips the mumbo text later on when we transform into the pumpkin. So it just saves like a good 4 seconds or something. Here's another one of the same clips. It's 450 skip. That's just muscle memory there because I thought the token was there, but it's whatever. It's basically the same clip, but we're going to do different navigation to go to a different spot in the layer. So we watch here, it's the same clip. Beak bomb out, we're out, fly all the way up, and beak bomb into this loading zone. And yeah. Now we're headed to open Mad Monster Mansion, then do Mad Monster Mansion. Right here is around a nice time. This is like, if this was in a GDQ or so, this would be like a really, really good time to just read donations. You can rip off probably quite a few. This is just like a little downtime to like rest and relax to prepare yourself for Mad Monster Mansion. Because Mad Monster Mansion is a super movement intensive level. It's like a really, really difficult level that lots of people struggle with and lots of people can like lose time to optimal. So yeah, this is like a nice little cooldown. Right here I'm gonna get hit by this chump. And this damage boost up, it saves like a nice second or so. Mad Monster Mansion, the thing about Mad Monster Mansion that's hard, somewhat hard in 80%, is that it's just tight on health management. But I can just get backup health, or like extra health in general. In fact, I do that in this run. I get backup, like extra health, just to be safe, and I don't die. So yeah. And we're gonna get this note, and do this huge quick dive all the way down. Now we're just gonna enter Mad Monster Mansion. Mad Monster Mansion early is also something that's found, but it's task only. So that's another thing that will be in the any percent task that's gonna come up soon. It's being worked on by Hyper Resonance, the 8-Bit Beast. I'm helping a tiny bit. A few other runners, Captain Cole is helping with it, and a few other like BK scientists. So if you watch this whole run and then watch the any percent task after, you'll just see how much different it is. You'll be able to appreciate it much more. Although I do think that this run in particular is much more interesting to watch because it includes all the B movement. In the task, it's not going to include as much B movement because you can skip the 810 note door, and you can skip the 765 note door with just the B. So we're just gonna get the B, enter the 765 note door, then end the game like that. So it cuts out all the B movement, but it does save a ton of time. So here we're just gonna break this gate from afar, and we're just gonna enter Mad Monster Mansion. Alright, so here, this Mad Monster Mansion, as I said, very movement intensive level. It's really difficult to do well. Honestly, those 4 notes are like the hardest in my opinion. Well, kind of the hardest. There's just so many like small strats you can optimize here. This level is something that I think will never, I honestly think will never be fully optimized to any of our knowledge. In this level, or like in this run, we need to get the pumpkin. So, we need to raise the water in the lair to get to Click Clock Wood into like the RBB switch. So we need to use the pumpkin in this level, which is actually not that bad because you can skip a lot of jiggy jigs with the pumpkin, and there's a lot of fast notes. So it's not that bad to get. The worst part about it is that you need a lot more tokens. But the tokens are actually not bad either because there's a lot of cool strats you can do to optimize tokens. Like in Spring 2, there's been like 2 new strats, cool new movement strats found that helps like get 2 tokens super fast. Here we're gonna jump over this hedge. Now here's another place where I can just be safe to get health. Just gonna get health there, climb up the pole. We're just gonna shock pad up here, finish all the mansion stuff. There's a little secret token back there. This room you may have seen people do the other way, but it's technically faster to do this way. In the task setting, but like it's also faster in RTA. Right here's a cooler strat. We hold R so the camera faces this way, so we can like reduce lag. Because if it's facing the other way, it's gonna face the church, the tumbler shed, and all that stuff, which causes a lot of lag. Right here, I'm gonna do this little trick where you poop an egg before getting this jiggy, and that allows you to get the token. If you saw, I skipped the token. Right here, I got it, and I also got the egg back, which is really cool. I have a low egg count here, but eggs are like, you literally don't need them anymore. The only reason you wouldn't need them is for like small egg strats like here, to just break doors, which you can just do by pecking. The last time we used eggs was in, the last time we needed to use eggs was before FP early, to break the web. And that's like the bare minimum. Here we're doing this maze section. You saw I jumped over the maze, which saves a little time. We do this hive jump on top of the maze. Oops. Top of the maze, over here. Come this way, towards this grave. Now we can just go up here. This is actually a decent mansion. I just remember I made a small mistake here. Around here. Where you just fall off. It's not that bad though. Here we're just gonna get all of these notes. Come over here. I'm just gonna transform into the pumpkin and finish the rest of the level. As you saw, there's no mumbo text there because of our trick that we did in FP. Normally there would be 2 mumbo text boxes, but now there's only just 1 after. Up. As a pumpkin, you can just hop around. Just gonna come over here, get this token, and just get like a few jiggies, a few notes, then end the level. Here's another small interesting thing. There used to be a token routed here, just down there in that corner to the right. But I recently, here's another cool token that you can get. You can damage this from the woodcrack and then jump into him again to get the token, and it's really fast. But as I was saying, there was a token there that was routed out recently because I found a new strat for a faster token in Spring 2 in Click Clock Wood. Now we're just gonna get these notes. I got a bit of gold feathers for backup, just in case. Gold feathers are nice because you can use them to optimize a lot of things. You don't take fall damage when you use gold feathers, which is nice. You can use them to break things faster. A lot of stuff like that. Now here I have 3 health in the round. Optimally you would have 1 health, but I was safe with health, so I just have 3, which is nice. And that's Mad Monster Mansion. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna go raise the water level, and then we're gonna no, we're not gonna reset. So normally in a 100% run we reset, but in this run we don't need the Clanker's Witch Switch Jiggy. And that Clanker's Witch Switch Jiggy is the only reason why resetting is faster. But in this run we don't need that Jiggy because it's a slow Jiggy. So we can just like de-transform and start walking back instead. So in this split, we're gonna do a trick called 640 skip, where we're gonna skip the 640 note door by like raising the water level higher and clipping out of bounds into the water, navigating out of bounds and going into 640 note door. This, I guess, is somewhat the same concept of TDC early, where you're swimming out of bounds, but it's way easier. But it's a really cool trick though. Here we just transform back and then we're just gonna start walking out. Here's our last feather that we need. We don't actually need all the feathers, but it's really nice to have them all, just to be safe. If you see my movement in general here as a pumpkin, you'll notice that I don't jump sometimes and I jump other times. This is actually not just like for fun. I actually do specific movement in general because of just to be faster. Like walking down slopes is always faster, but jumping up slopes is always faster as well. So you'll notice that I usually tend to walk down slopes and jump up slopes. Same with BK, except BK is a little slight exception, because after you jump there's a slide, and after the slide you lose a bit of speed. So yeah, we mostly jump with BK. Now we can open this 450 note door that we skipped earlier, and just enter. Here we're gonna just go open this water switch, hit this water switch to raise the level even more, the water level. We're not gonna do RBB, we're gonna pass RBB, we're gonna come back later as the B. We're gonna do this a cool quick dive here. We'll peek bust this, get into Talon Trap, and slide off. Now we're all the way at the bottom, which is perfect, because we wanna go through this loading zone, go back through the loading zone we came from, and it's way closer to the bottom. Coming up, we're going to do 640 skip that I was talking about. I'm going to swim all the way up here. All the way up into this little alcove. And break this gate over here. Jump all the way in here, raise the water level one last time. And now we're gonna jump into this little ledge right here. Try our best to jump into the ledge. Get stuck. What's happening is when we're stuck, we're building downwards velocity. And when we go to the corner with a lot of speed, then we just clip out. Now we can swim out of bounds where the water is and fly behind the 640 note door. Here we're doing a little nice strat called leaf jump. It's just a blind backflip up to the leaf. Sometimes it's hard. It's not 100% consistent, but usually it works. And it doesn't lose time to fail. I believe I got a third try here. No, I got a fourth try or whatever. It's whatever. And we just do a little blind movement here in Talon Trap. And we come up here. Hit the switch, now we're just gonna go open quick clockwood. We had another spot where it would be really nice for donations and stuff. So we're just gonna go back through this cauldron right here, go open the clockwood puzzle, and come back. this opening this puzzle piece, this level, and opening MMM are like the biggest downtimes in this run. Pretty much. I'm gonna get this token, because it's faster in this category now. And we're just gonna go out. Alright, now we're just gonna go back, use the warp, and we're just gonna enter Click This run in general, my PB, was a pretty solid run overall, so being only plus 30 after this much is pretty good. Alright, so we're going to Click Clock. Click Clock is about getting the rest of the tokens. We don't need Jiggies anymore since Click Clock was the last thing we needed to open. So Click Clock, we're just only going to get notes and tokens, and then we're going to head out. Notes, tokens, transform into the B, and then we're going to head out. Here we can make this little jump in talent shot because these buds are slightly higher because they're not fully blossomed. So if we jump from the top, we can jump up there without backflipping. We can get these notes, get more tokens. Go this way. Jump around the burrs because it's faster. There's a nice backup token here that we can get if we need to, but we don't need it. It's not optimal if we are on track. Just do all this platforming. Click Clockwood has a lot of cool platforming. Kill this guy. Now we're gonna hit the switch and then we're just gonna leave. We don't need to go to Irie because there's nothing up there that we need. So we're just gonna come down here, and remember, as I said before, we can Gold Feather without taking fall damage, so that's what we're gonna do here. Gold Feather off, enter Talent Shot, and get out. That's Spring 1, which is really fast. Now Summer. Most of the levels consist climbing the tree and just going around the tree. But we do a lot of different movement for each season still. Here we can backflip in front of this bird if we're precise enough. But continue on without getting hit. Here's a slightly harder section where you're going to jump around the birds in summer, but they're slightly bigger, so it's a bit harder, but it's still completely doable, and it still saves time. You get these notes. Don't do Sebas. Now continue up, going up the tree. Come over here. We're going to get these notes, and we're going to jump on the snare bear without taking damage. The back of the snare bear is behind their eyes. It's like a vulnerable spot, so you can just jump there without taking damage. I'm gonna get all these notes, skip that note, just a small optimization like that. Just like this entire run is based off of small optimizations. Get the token, jump all the way down here. Just hunting for tokens at this point. Tokens and notes, get this token down here. I bet most people don't even know about these tokens, probably. I'll get this token in this corner. Now we're just perfectly at the right position to open Fall. Fall is like has a lot more notes. The cool thing about Click Clock in this category, and pretty much all the 90% categories, is that we skip winter. Because we don't need the winter notes. There's only 16 notes in winter. There's 4 notes in the spring lobby, or in the Click Clock lobby. There's 16 in spring, 16 in winter, 16 in summer, but there's 48 in fall. So going to fall is a necessity. However, winter is good because it can serve as a backup for if somehow you die. So you can just quickly open winter, then go there for some backup notes. So that was a good summer, actually. That was a really good summer. As you can see, I saved time to my PB and pretty much tied gold, I think. Now, fall. Fall is a really cool season because we climb up the tree with the leaves. Normally, in 100%, we climb up the leaves in summer. But in this category, it's faster to climb up in fall. So that's what we're going to do here. Activate this bird, get these notes. Gonna get these snare bear notes first. Get these, now we're just gonna go up the leaves. There's a nice token here that's really fast. Jump here. There's a bird here that I think I kill eventually here, yeah. Optimally, you don't have to kill this bird, but it's really hard not to. It's a really risky strat. And as you saw there, I left the Jiggy there because we don't need Jiggies anymore. So yeah. Look at this blind movement for the token. Here, we don't need to give Nap his nuts, because he can find them himself, because we're not his mother, but we just want to steal his nuts. Here we can do some slope abuses to get past these birds. See, right there's the winter switch. If needed, you can open winter there, but normally you would not do it. Here's a nice cool strat, where you sort of quick dive down, flutter onto this branch, roll off, flutter onto the trunk. Slightly risky, but optimal. Now we're just gonna get these notes, and we're just gonna head back. We're gonna get all these notes on this snare bear. It's okay that I use a few feathers there, because we don't need feathers that much more. You only need like one more in this entire run. Now we're gonna get all of these notes. Now we're just gonna exit the level by doing fall clip. In 100%, the optimal route does spring clip, but it's actually easier in fall because it's laggier, which builds speed. Because lag in this game, as long as it doesn't go below 20 FPS, Banjo speeds up to compensate. So it allows you to build more speed, like more efficiently, which allows you to clip easier. Here we're going to Gold Feather for that token, but this Spring 2 has some really good health management. You Gold Feather for that token, that Sniper would normally take 2 damage, but we don't want to take 2 damage yet, because we want to have at least 3 health for this strat right here to get this next token. You know, get all these notes and jump into this token, take damage by the snare bear, and take fall damage on the snare bear, then fall off. And since your shadow falls off the snare bear, you can flutter, or you just like won't do the entire fall animation. So then that will allow you to just get that token fast and get out. It's a really fast token that actually saves like over 4 seconds in this category. Here's another cool token, where you sort of quick dive down and keep your talent shot and get that token. And yeah, now we're just gonna become the bee, and we're done with Click Clock Wood. Now we just death press the bee because we need nothing else here. Now all the bee needs to do is just collect the rest of the notes that we need. Here we're gonna do this RBA clip, Reverse Bee Adventure clip, on the 765 note door. Good thing to note here is there's a 0% chance of opening this note door since we don't even have enough notes. So we have 557 notes right now. The bee's job is just to collect the rest to get up to 810. We don't need that token. Just gonna head over the wall, because we can, because why not, and head to this Rusty Bucket Bay lobby. Again, what are walls? We can just fly over and head behind the wall and enter Rusty Bucket Bay. That was actually a gold, which is nice. Now, Rusty Bucket Bay, the first level for all the bee movement stuff. You get all these notes. We just basically fly to one place, get the notes, fly to the next place, get the next notes. But if we can, we want to get all the notes as much as possible in flight, because flying is obviously the fastest part of the bee. Like right here is a cool little strat, where we get all these notes without landing, fly out, just like that. The bee is like really setup based. You fly towards one direction, you tap A specific amount of times, and you should get the specific height, and it's just very setup based. So it's a really, it's kind of finicky movement, but it does look good when you're done it well. You're gonna get these notes, walk into the water to lose some height, but also to fly. Now we're just gonna get these notes. After this last note, we're gonna enter engine room from the other side. So you may be thinking, how do we enter engine room? You can't use the window clip like in 100%. It doesn't work from this side. However, what we can do is just fly straight through the wall, just like this, right here, just like that. The bee is broken as this is super broken. It's like, because obviously you're not meant to use it here. Here's a little danger right there. If you get hit, then you just basically die because you can't fly while you're getting hit. Even that's not that big of a deal since we're only like a minute into the level. So that was the bee's engine room, which is much easier than normal engine room. So we just fly out now. Through where we came from. Flying this way to get these notes. Picking up the notes as we go along, enter this crate. Get these notes and get out. Fly all the way to this crate. This is a cool little room where we take planned damage and to get the notes. So we fly into this chomper, get its note, take 2 damage, which is calculated to plan for a death warp. Not in this level, but in Gobi's Valley. Get that note. We're gonna get this note, fly into this next note, activate the chomper here, but then get this next note beside that chomper, get the note, fall down before the chomper hits you, and fly out. It's a really nice room when done well. But here, I'm gonna try and get these notes as much in flight as possible. If not, we can just fall into the water and go into these toxic barrels. Those 3 notes are fast, and now we just go enter this kitchen. This kitchen is a little sketchy. I believe I take a safe strat here, because this grublin's in the way. You can just fly. Here we can do this cool little strat. Fly under the oven to lose some height, then leave the level, the loading zone. Here's a cool flying section. We fly here, get this note, stay in flight, fly against this wall. If we tap A here, we can get this note and still stay in flight. Now we can go all the way here to these few notes, and then start walking for these. Now right here, we're at a perfect spot to just enter here, this loading zone. Get our last 4 notes here. I got all of them in flight, actually, pretty much. Now we can just void out through this window. If you notice, that window actually has, like, an actual window. It's not broken, but you can just phase right through it, because they didn't put a window there. So that's Rusty Bucket Bay. Now we're gonna go over the wall again, as usual, and just go towards Gobi's Valley. You may be wondering how we're gonna go into Gobi's Valley, because there's no walls to go over. However, what we can do is something that's coming up right here. I'm gonna fly here, fly on top, go up, above, on top of these leaves, and we can just hop in, just like that, no big deal. They just put a little hole there. You can honestly get in there as BK2, but there's no way of getting up to the leaves. So that's our Gobi's Valley early. Here's a cool little strat. We get all these notes in flight. And we get some of these notes in flight. As as much as possible. I missed that one, but it's not that big of a deal. Optimally, you would get all these notes in flight, but it's a really hard strat. It doesn't save too much time, but it's a really swag strat. Now we're gonna come over here, and now we're gonna do this cool little clip that's somewhat new. This setup at least is pretty new. We're gonna jump here in the front, fly into this door frame, slightly turn, and we're just gonna clip out of bounds. Now here, we're gonna navigate our way under the sand and into Ruby's Pyramid, because we want all these notes in here. This clip saved us like up to 20 seconds or more. Because what we used to do is we used to get the notes in the sandcastle and we used to get the notes in the Zebba's nest. Here we're just gonna go all the way back here and get all these as much notes in the fight as we can. I would have got a lot of notes if I got that first one, but it's whatever. Coming up here is a really cool flight section where we really don't want to land, and I think it actually worked out super well in this run. Where we turn the camera here, take flight, fly into this note, don't land, fly into the wall, fly up, fly into this note, don't land, fly into the wall, fly into this note. Now come over here to get these two notes, still don't land, get these two notes, still keep flight, and now we're going to get this note, hopefully, come down here, and get this last note. So that was a really difficult but really satisfying section to watch and to like just do in general. Here we're going to fly up this ramp, lose some height, get this note, and fly up to the pyramid. Gonna get these notes, and I'll fly for all these stair notes without losing flight, hopefully. This, fly, turn, this, fly, land, drop all the way down to the bottom. Now here you may think that we're gonna just get all these notes and then dip out, but nope, we're just gonna get 3 notes, fly up, get half the notes in the moat, then get all the notes up here by the moat. This is where there's a little downtime, but it's a nice little break, because now we're just gonna jump down to the bottom, get the rest of the notes. Not even gonna get that last note up there, because it's optimal to get it later. Get this note, then get this last 6th note at the bottom, and fly up here into this last note, and continue to gypsy. Get these paw notes. 1, 2, 3. Next 3. 1, 2, 3. Fly up. Now we're gonna do Gobi Clip. So Gobi Clip in BK, as BK, is really hard, but here it's just free. You can just like walk right underneath easily with great ease. So yeah, that was a lot of cool B movement. It's not even over yet. We're gonna get these 2 notes. We're gonna come back to the middle, turn the camera. Now we're gonna get these notes in flight, all 3 of them, just like that. It's very precise, but it's done really well. Get these last 2 notes, take a damage on the slapper so he doesn't fall back into the ground, then die. And that's Gobi's Valley. So that was a really... So as you can see, that was a really, really nice like section right there, super intense. A lot of cool B flight sections. Now we're just gonna go enter this phase, and we're just gonna go enter Bubblegloop Swamp. So Bubblegloop Swamp, if Gobi's Valley is like the hardest to get through, but Bubblegloop Swamp is the easiest to get through. However, Bubblegloop Swamp is the hardest to optimize, because there's so much potential to get notes in flight that it becomes really difficult at a top level, but it's super entertaining when done well. Right here, I believe I got a really good start, where you take flight. We're not going to get these first two notes, but we're going to get these 3 notes, keep our flight, lower down a bit, get these 3 notes, take flight, and continue all the way down here. Stuff like that, keeping flight like that, is what makes the B super optimal. And it's what, in a task setting, it would make tasks save way more time than RTA than just on normal BK movement. Here we do the same thing, get all these notes, stay in flight, and then fly all the way up here. Now we have a little break, just walk for all these notes, get all of them, just keep getting all the notes, except now we're just going to drop down right here, because getting that note later is optimal. We're going to get some tanked up notes. We don't need a hurt tanked up in this category. He's a good boy. hurt, so-called. And get this note, fly up for the last note up here that we left, fly towards this note. You get all these notes except one, again. Take this note, and fly all the way back here. As you can see, the B has a really easy time just flying from note section to note section, which makes it super, super fast. Go up here, fall down, get these 4 notes, and we're gonna fly back up for that last note that we skipped. And we're just gonna get these notes. Except here, we're not gonna leave one. Fly on this note, land right in front of their eyes, walk all the way down. We're just gonna fly all the way here. There's like very little time between what notes you get in this level. Here's a little hard section to get. You want to get all these notes in flight if possible. It's a little difficult, but it's not that bad. Then we're going to go into the maze here. Get that note in flight, fly up here, land on the maze, fall down. Get this note, fly up. This maze is really interesting to optimize because you have to get notes then fly to the next batch of notes, but all while trying to make sure that you land optimally. So here we're landing on the wall, landing for the notes, walking for this one, and taking flight again. Land on this wall, drop down for the note. Oh, we missed it, that's fine. And then take flight right away again after. Land on this wall, get these 3 notes. Right after this last note, jump fly again, land on this next wall, land on the note. Now we're just gonna fly out. Right here, we're gonna get these last 2 notes that we left earlier in flight. So we're not gonna land, we're gonna get those 2 notes, and then we're just done with the level. And that's BGS. As you can see, even that was really good, but it still had so much more potential. And yeah, that's all the B stuff in this category. There's a lot of it, and it's really entertaining and really like satisfying to see it all done well. Now we're just gonna turn into BK and just make our way towards Furnace Fun with the ding pot. What I actually can do here in an actual run for entertainment purposes is to just fly to Furnace Fun as the bee, which is like only the second or 2 slower, but it's much smoother. Jump flutter up here, and then we're just gonna enter this. As you can see, we have 810 notes, which is perfectly enough to beat the game. Now we're entering Furnace Fun. We can skip most of Furnace Fun because of the Nimpog skip, named after the guy who found it, I guess. The new Furnace Fun skip, which saved 2 minutes over what we used to do, but in general, over the casual way, it saves like something crazy like 8 minutes or something. Gonna do Furnace Fun, try and answer these questions as fast as possible. I can just skip through all these because I know all the answers, hopefully. Some of them are hard, some of the audio questions we want to skip the audio so we can answer right away, but we'll see what happens. That one's a hard one. That one's freezes to peak, so it's whatever. As you can see, I'm still skipping the audio just so I can answer it right away. Joker Square. And we're just gonna do Nimpog skip. So on between each tile, there's a 1 pixel line where you can do moves. So if we get in Talent Shot on the slide and slightly slide onto the death square, we can answer the question while we're getting in Talent Shot because the game doesn't register you as in Talent Shot until you're fully in Talent Shot. So you can do stuff as you can as like just normal BK. So now that we're in Talent Shot and answering this, if we get it wrong, our recoil, our like getting hit animation is different. So we stay on the board. Now we can just skip through it because all the walls are down because it needs to flick you off the board. But since we're not getting flicked off, we can just jump through. And yeah. Right here coming up, this is a really pretty difficult trick. It's called Door of Grunty Skip. So what we're going to do here we're gonna run into this wall, build some downwards velocity, clip out, then on a frame perfect input, we're gonna jump into the room right beside it to go around this and skip 25 jiggies. It is a hard trick, but it is kind of somewhat consistent. Right here I got a second try, which is really, really cool. And as you can see here, nothing is loaded. And we can just peck through that note door to get the eggs. We don't need to advance. And yeah. That trick saves like 6 minutes in this entire run. And now we're just going to do Grunty Fight. So yeah, overall this run was really solid. I expect a run just like this if I were to get into GDQ, honestly. Because this run was really, really, really good with like minimal practice. So it just shows how consistent this category can be. And obviously, if we were to get into GDQ, I would just like practice it way more. So here we're just gonna do all this Grunty Fight's business, shooting all the eggs before she even gets there. Do this flight section where we just hit her 4 times actually. Yeah. I think that this run would be a really, really nice run to showcase at a GDQ. I think that everyone loves Banjo. 100% is the most viewed, but the other categories, while not as popular, are no lesser in quality. They're practically they're like honestly just as optimized, I would say. I'm one of the people who like optimize these routes a lot, and I feel like I've optimized this pretty well. So I would say that this is probably not seen as much, but it's like super entertaining. Not many people have seen a full 100% run. It would be really nice for more people to see it. It is a hard category, but it is really cool. Yeah. So that's practically it. I end up being like a minute 22 off my PB, which is really good still. Which is, as I said before, only 20 seconds off of second place, which is really good. Even if, especially for a marathon run or just like a safety run. And yeah. This category can be showcased really well. Yeah, I hope it gets in. GG. We'll end on this final here, right here. Yeah, GG. Okay.